Hi, my name is Pawelczyk, and this is my presentation for Athabasca University's Human-Computer Interaction class, Assignment 3. The purpose of this assignment was to develop a prototype for an imaginary business that could help them improve their business operations. I chose to do mine for a company called PC Guru, and they're a company that allows customers to buy parts for building custom computers or just buy regular computer parts in general. The purpose of this prototype was to help speed up the shopping experience at the store and as well reduce customer errors while shopping at the store. Prior to the implementation of this prototype, customers were expected to fill out their orders on paper, and this would cause them to frequently pair together invalid parts, and this would cause errors because you can't build a computer with invalid parts. So this would cause significant overhead to employees trying to deal with these errors. So the hope of this prototype was to reduce errors made by customers and also speed up the shopping experience. So the first section here is the configure computer section. This is where customers can build their computer, and you're first displayed with an option to select your style of computer, and we would choose, let's say we go with a laptop. So then all of a sudden we have a choice here, 13.5 inch. Let's say we choose that. Our order summary, 13.5 inch display is $75. Then we would have a selection for memory. Say we choose 16 gigs. Then we see that there's these two processors available. However, let's say that we want, instead of 16 gigs, 32 gigs. Now we have three choices available, and this is the kind of whole point of this section of the app. Is back in the day, maybe a customer would have chose 16 gigs and then i7, but that's not a valid option. It's only an option that's available for the 32 gig memory. So now the system accounts for those errors that could be made. Similarly, let's say like we have here an Intel Core i7. I'll go with 1 terabyte of storage, French keyboard, graphics card, whatever, and then we have a total price here. And this total price in this order summary form is cool because, say I wanted to switch to 512 gigs, I would go and switch, and you can see here that the 1 terabyte got replaced with 512 gigs and the price dropped. Then we'd reselect French, graphics card. By the way, that is one of the inconsistencies with this issue, is switching memory will cause the keyboard to disappear, then you have to reselect the keyboard, and then you have to reselect the graphics card. And that's just an inconsistency that needs to be dealt with in a future iteration. If you press add to cart, nothing happens, and it's because there's no database set up. This is all just dummy data. The next section of the prototype is the browse parts section. Over here is where customers can search for an individual part, because it's unlikely that every customer that walks into the store is going to want to buy 6 parts, 7 parts, and build a custom computer. They may just need one particular item, so here you can go, search for whatever you want. I'm going to go and pick buy a terabyte of storage. Over there you can see the price. Currently the quantity is at 0. Let's say I increment it by 1. Total price $183. Now I got 2 is $366. So it's again a dynamic order summary form that's increasing and decreasing the price as we go. Now let's say like I wanted to click this button forever and ever and ever. There we go. So the available quantity for this particular product is only 43 units, so it's not possible for a user to buy more of an item that's in stock for the store. And similarly, I mean, I'll just go here. If you want to go down all the way, boom, okay. So you can see we handle errors for the less than 0 or greater than the total stock cases. However, it should be, I think, a good design consideration for the future is to anytime a user switches a product to automatically reduce the counts to 0 for these. That's another inconsistency that needs to be dealt with. But then like a user can add to cart, see here, quantity 0, so we don't allow you to do it. If you add to cart, then it will reduce it. Continue shopping, yes, no, boom. Okay. Last section of the app is the administration section. This is where store employee would have a username and a password that they can log in, and they can do a customer checkout here. These are all dummy fields and nothing really happens right now, and then it just says once you place order, thank you for your order, and you're returned to the home page. So the way task walkthroughs were performed was basically I imagined situations in my head that would try to fit the widest demographic of users available. So I tried to identify, like, first of all, who would be using the system, and that would be store employees and store customers. And then I would try to think of like what kinds of users might be using it. They could be likely to be experienced computer users. There could be unexperienced computer users. There could be elderly people. There could be disabled people. My main goal of that was to not design for the average user. I wanted to try to incorporate as many users into thought as possible, so as many users as possible could use the system. So after that, the prototypes were developed through draw.io software. I made prototypes for this system. The way I implemented this was with Java, and I used Swing, which is like a widget tool for graphical user interfaces. So that is what you're seeing here. That's all through Java and Swing. Overall, I think like the design of this like prototype, like if the two main goals were to reduce errors and speed up customer time in the store, then this prototype definitely accomplishes those goals. This is way better than a paper-based system. It completely eliminates errors, which is huge. And I even here, like for example, like we make these fields are write or read only because like it would be detrimental to the system. Like let's say you wanted to type in quantity of 2, but let's say a user typed in TWO instead of the number 2, and this field expected an integer value, not a string, then that would cause an error and potentially cause the system to crash. Of course, that can be dealt with pretty easily through error handling and error checking, but that's just extra work. And the design of this system itself, just by making these fields read only, completely eliminates all that thought and worry, and we know that the system is going to work how we expect it to. There's going to be no errors. So I think that users who use this prototype would enjoy it. The configure computer section is very similar to the Microsoft Surface Pro website, where it's essentially the same thing, where a user picks their memory, picks their certain style, and then they can add their product to a cart. So that was kind of the goal of that, was to model it off a successful corporation that already has it in place. And yeah, so other than that, I think design is good. Users should be happy with this. There are a few flaws, like a couple minor inconsistencies that cause a user to perform more work than they need to, but those aren't like detrimental to the goal of this project, which is error prevention and speeding up customer shopping time. So anyways, thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.